CEO Brian Molefe, who is here with me in the studio. He will now be overseeing the MK Party's finances as the newly appointed Treasurer General for the party. Molefe replaces Mbiake Limba, who has left the party. The party has also removed Colin Makubele as Chief Whip in Parliament. Brian Molefe joins me now in the studio. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for coming through. Talk us through, if you will, how you were appointed, who came to you and said what?
Well, it was a decision of the executive of the MKP, and they sent me a letter and said they would like me to become the new Treasurer General, and asked if I'm amenable to it, and I agreed.
Did they give you any reasons as to why they chose you and not someone else?
Well, they said they chose me because of my experience in finance and my knowledge of matters financial, and that we are going into a very difficult phase, which is the elections, and they need a steady hand, a person who has a very deep understanding of how to run finances, because with the election coming, we are going to be quite active.
Who actually sat you down and talked you through this?
The Secretary General.
It is an election year, and I mean, you do get the party does get its allocation from the fiscus, but who else actually funds the MK Party?
The parties are allocated money according to the number of seats they have in Parliament.
Yeah. But in addition to that, where else do you get your...
No, I'm still to find out exactly. I mean, I'm 2 days into the job. So I will look into that and see where else we can also raise funds.
Way too many changes, it must be said, for a party that's 2 years old, which
yes.
to many people suggests instability.
No, not at all. You see, Voyo, in organizations that are young are very dynamic, and there's a lot of moving parts. It's like a toddler who's growing up. So many things are growing. And so what I'm thankful about is that, in fact, the leadership of the organization is very decisive. And so when there is a problem, even if it is a small problem, for a young organization, it can kill the organization. So they are very decisive and they act. And so we've seen that happening a number of times in the last 2 years. But it's because the party is young, 2 years old, and in 6 months, it managed to become the leader of the opposition at the last election. So it was established, and within 6 months, it was already leader of the opposition. Now, that is a growth. That is a breakneck growth, because people will tell you that organizations have what they call the natural rate of growth for an organization, which should not be too fast, not too slow. Ours was very fast, from zero to leader of the opposition. In fact, maybe even more, because when they were counting the last votes in the national election, the lights went off, and there was load shedding, and there was this and that during the counting. So we were skeptical about the numbers that came through. But still, we are now the official opposition. We are the biggest party in KwaZulu-Natal, majority party in the KZN legislature. And we have made it into provinces like Limpopo, where we have a seat, and Northwest. So, and we've been winning some local government by-elections. So the party is growing very fast. And with a party that is growing very fast like that, it does not need a leadership that is in paralysis, where when they see a problem, they do not act. So with MKP, you guarantee that they will act. And the action is commensurate with with the age of the party. You have to act very decisively when you're in an organization like that.
Well, if one accepts your explanation, it then means that you have many problems.
Of course, yeah. A party that is 2 years old, that has suddenly become the leader of the opposition, will have problems. They to be expected. The question is, how do you deal with them? Do you just look at them and become paralyzed, like you are a 100-year-old or a 30-year-old organization or a 50-year-old organization? Organizations that are deeply entrenched in their ways take time to act because they have been doing these things for a long time. But a young party needs to be reactive to problems that it has. So it will have problems. The question is, how does the leadership, that's a measure of leadership, how does the leadership deal with those problems? Are you decisive? When you see something happening that is wrong, you have to swat it like a fly and deal with it and keep moving, because as a young organization, you must expect problems.
I mean, you've been a leader. I mean, you've led organizations. How would you characterize the MK's problems? Where do they stem from?
You know, you're correct. You know, when I joined the PIC, it was in a state of chaos. And nobody knew the PIC. We had to stabilize it and get it known by the public and establish systems. I remember that we could not even trade equities, and yet we had 300 billion rand under management. So when I joined Transnet, the trains were not running, but within 12 months they were. We were buying locomotives, we were getting on with it, and the industry was happy with our performance. And Transnet was profitable within a short space of time. It had been making losses before I joined. When I joined Eskom, it was in the middle of load shedding. And people thought I was crazy to go to Eskom during that kind of load shedding in 2015. And I remember I said, oh, it is a beautiful challenge. No crisis must go to waste. And I kind of feel the same way now, that this is a young organization, lots of possibilities. It has done very well in the last election. I think if we get our act together, we will do very well in this coming election, and I'm sure we will in this coming local government election. And so it is quite important to stabilize the finances and gear them towards an election year that we are going into. And as far as I'm concerned, the fact that it is young, it has got problems and so on, is the kind of thing that I like to deal with, to turn around.
But have you personally made the transition from, the private and public sector to being a politician?
You know, I don't regard myself as a politician because a politician has got certain connotations. Fact of the matter is that...
But you are, aren't you?
Fact of the matter, let me explain to you. Fact of the matter is that the land has not been returned. And so after 30 years of democracy and so on, the land has not been returned. Fact of the matter is that we have the highest unemployment, one of the highest unemployment rates in the world, probably the highest, at 43%. Inequality is still very deep. The highest inequality in the world is in South Africa. The highest Gini coefficient in the world is in South Africa. And our levels of poverty are deep and deepening. And so, I mean, I'm not in there because I just want people to elect me or and so on. I'm in there because I'm concerned about these issues. And I don't know if that makes me a politician or an economist who is concerned about where the economy is going, where the welfare of African people in South Africa is going.
But have you not been forced by circumstances to be a politician? Is it something you would have wanted to do?
I would have wanted to do what I'm doing now, which is to be concerned about the issues that I've just mentioned and to do something about it. But whether you call that being a politician, I'm not a hard-nosed politician who stands up and says, vote for me, vote for me. I was saying it to a community in Garankuwa the other day, where people have been living in houses that are submerged in water for years, that if we do not do anything about this, don't vote for us. And that is not a typical political statement that you'd expect. I would like to think of myself as somebody who's genuinely, and a lot of people in MKP who are genuinely concerned about the direction that the welfare of our people is taking. I'm sure that you also have the same concerns, and it doesn't make you a politician.
But remember, once upon a time, you were an admired model public servant. You made an impact at the PIC. You did so as well at Transnet. Now, to be where you are now is a bit of, certainly from where I'm concerned or coming from, it is a bit of a travesty.
You feel like that?
Yes.
That is your problem. The way you feel is how you want to feel. Fact of the matter is that I don't feel any travesty. I don't feel any. I did not go out to be admired. I certainly am not begging you to admire me. So if you want to admire me and be disappointed, that is your problem. Fact that I'm living my life. My life is such that I did what I did, and I feel that at this stage in my life, this is what I need to do.
You don't have any regrets that perhaps you don't regret associations you may have kept, or perhaps having taken on certain jobs that meant you are where you are now, where you have to be a member of parliament. I don't think that would have been your first choice.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. That's what you think.
You don't think
I cannot control how you want to feel, how you want to think, and so on and so forth. Fact of the matter is that this is my life, Will. I have done what I have done in the past. I'm happy with what I have done.
You have no regrets?
I have no regrets. And I'm quite happy with what I'm doing now and where I'm going now. Quite happy because as I said, strongly feel that the issue of the liberation and economic freedom of our people is very important. In the past, when I did what I did, it was also in pursuit of that. You would know that I was very outspoken, continue to be very outspoken about black economic empowerment. I still am. And to the extent that that has not changed the lives of ordinary people, our policies over the last 30 years, maybe that is what I'm disappointed about. But I feel that I still have some oxygen in my lungs and that we can still do something about it.
You absolutely have no regrets, nothing you could have done differently.
What, do you have any suggestions about what I should regret?
I was never in your position.
Yeah, if you want to have regrets, we all have regrets, but don't drag me into your regrets.
No, I'm asking if you don't.
I said I don't.
Where do you see yourself in the next few years?
Well, take it as it comes. This year, we're fighting an election. Maybe in another 2 years, 3 years, we'll be fighting another election. And 1 year at a time.
And you believe that the MK party has what it takes? In other words, it's not a one election wonder that may soon disappear.
No, I don't think so. I think that the people's discontent is deep-seated, and that the MK party is certainly saying the right things and doing the right things about the discontent of the people. Who would have thought that the ANC would go into an alliance with the Freedom Front? Our erstwhile oppressors, the people who in parliament still say that they are anti-transformation, openly, in front of the ANC, that they are anti-transformation, that they don't see a need for the transformation of South African society, or who oppose policies in Parliament that are meant to advance and improve the protracted encounter with hopelessness that our people are encountered with every day. You know, every day, Vuyo, there is a person out there who's unemployed, who has to go and tell his children that they couldn't get a job again and that they will have to go hungry tonight. You think the Freedom Front is concerned about that? You think the Freedom Front shares our concern, you and I's concern about that issue? Because those people are real. All of us know somebody who has not worked for 5 years.
Your court case is coming up in November. How do you feel about it, and how do you think it may just change your life?
The court case is coming up in November.
Yes.
No, it's now January. No, it's coming up now in February. I personally don't think that the state has a case, and that the state is just running around. Tulima Donsela said I should be investigated by a commission of inquiry. It was set up. Commission of inquiry was set up. And the commission of inquiry said there should be further investigation. That was the essence of what Zondo said. He said, well, I think there must be further investigation by the authorities. The authorities took their time and eventually called us to come to court and to answer these charges. And yet, since they called us in 2022 or 23, we still haven't pleaded guilty or not guilty because they are not ready. They say that we are going to trial in February. In December, they gave us 55 terabytes of information in 5 terabyte hard disks, 11 5 terabyte hard disks. And they said, here's the information. Somewhere in there are the documents that we will use. And you go and sort it out. 55 terabytes of information is 2,000 reams of paper. When I go through it, it's actually the Transnet server. When I go through it, I find somebody's estate rules where they live. They saved it on their laptop and it got into the server. And so now, as part of the preparation for trial, I must go and read those rules, which have got nothing to do with the trial. And the state knows it has got nothing to do with the trial. But they also know that I have to pay an advocate to read that because it's information that they provided to us. So we don't know where they're going to end up with these tactics of dragging us into court, or how long this trial is going to take, or what is going to come out of it. But I am quite convinced that there is no case and there is nothing wrong that I have done.
Mr. Brian Molefe, thank you for your time and for coming through. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
The MK Party's newly appointed Treasurer General.